Namaste. Okay. First up is Yoga Sutra. Book 1, Sutra 44. I think there are 55 sutra. Namaste. Etayaivan Savichanrang Nilvichanrang Chang Su Kushima Vishoyang Biang Tiang Tang Tatra Pu Dasu Kushima Keshiva Pu Dasu Kushima Keshiva Pibyakuda Talma Keshu Deshakan La Nimited Tanu Bhava Vasat Disitu, something like that. 치는 내슈 치는 내슈 치는 내슈 대샤강 하나님이 뜻하는 파방 대샤강 하나님이 뜻하는 파방 아바츠 치는 내슈 영 영을 사망 빠뜨디허 성을 사비장 레티우지아뜸 따뜨랑 비에까 보드티글 따뜨랑 비에까 보드티 니글 따뜨랑 비에까 보드티 니글 따뜨랑 비에까 보드티 따뜨랑 비에까 보드티 닐그랑 히아메 보디 답 탈마비 바시비시슈덤 따뜨랑 비에까 보드티 닐그랑 히아메 보디 따탈마 비시슈덤 푸다수 구시마마 라문바니 푸담 사마티파지냥 양 무파티슈타트 양 보나흐 사마티파지냥 양 무파티슈타트 양 보나흐 살바타흐 샤는 또디땅 비아 샤는 또디땅 비아파데시아 탈마나 바제치는 내슈 살바탈마 노방아티슈 살바탈마 뜨마케슈 사마파드티흐 성을 일비장 레티우지언트 에밤스바루 밤히 다드푸 다수 구시마메테나 이방 스바루 벨노 나문바니 부담에방 사마티 브라지냥 스바루 바무빠찬 란자야티 사마티 브라지냥 스바루 바무빠 란자야티 브라지냥 장 스바루 바슈 니에방 알타망 알트랑에 야당 바바티 다당 늘비장 레티우지아트 바트랑 마하드 바스투 비쇼영에 사비탈강을 늘비탈강을 장 수크시마 바스투 비쇼영에 Number 1 수크시마 비쇼영에 사비장랑에 늘비장랑을 장 에바무 파요레타 야이방을 늘비탈까 양을 빛깔을 바하 늘비양 키양 때띠 넘어섰다. Just checking one word. I'm not gonna put too much effort into the misprints. Hopefully that's correct. They used a different word. No, it's different. Sorry. Mahadevasata Vishoya. Okay. Yeah, I could read this version. I mean, this printing is so awful. Whatever. Namaste. By the same, the reflective and the super-reflective are explained as having subtle objects. Of these, that is called the reflective balance state, which refers to subtle elements, the apparent forms of which have been manifested and which are characterized by an experience of place and time and cause. In this case also, a subtle element capable of being apperceived by one idea and particularized by uprisen apparent forms serves as that upon which the concentrated insight rests. But that balanced state, which in all ways and by all means refers to such as are free from characterization by apparent forms, whether quiescent or uprisen, or indeterminable, and which yet corresponds to all apparent forms, and is the essence of all apparent forms, is called super-reflective. Since the subtle element is of this kind, it becomes in this very form that on which the concentrated insight rests, and it influences the insight itself. When, moreover, the insight becomes, as it were, emptied of itself and becomes the intended object and nothing more, then it is called super-reflective. Of these, the deliberative and the super-deliberative have as object something great, while the reflective and the super-reflective have a subtle object. Thus, by this same super-deliberative, the destruction of predicate relations of both kinds has been explained. That was very therapeutic. Okay, moving on. Next is Veda. I hope good people are having good Sundays today. And I hope that every day is a better day for good people from now on. In King Yahusha's name, Amen. Okay, next is a good Veda. Hymn 13 of Book 3. That's really weird. No, it's not that weird. Short and sweet. Cool. Namaste. Prang Pong Tevang Yang Gunaye Parhishita Malchang Parhishita Malchang Asumai Kamadu Deva Pirang Sa No Yachishutua Bahirang Sadat Batang Bang Yasian Rodasi Takusham Satyanantang Udayahu Havishimanan Tasitami Lotte Tam Sanishonen Tobase Sang Yanan Tang Bipura Eshum Sang Yajinyang Nang Matang Hi Shuhu Agnim Tam Wo Dubasia Tang 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 Yo Bani Tang Makam Sa Nah Shalmanui Bidayagniria Chatu Shamtamang Yato Nah Boroshana Vadu Basutu Boroshana Vadu Basu TV Gushuiti Pyo Apasuvan Di Bam Sama Di Bam Sama Po Viam Pasavi Pirasiang Ti Piho Vakavangano Agni Minen Tate Potangaram Bishipatim Bisham Utang no Brahmanan Nabisho Ugateshu Devahu Damahu Sham Nahu Shojang Marudu Buru Togune Sasara Sangtamahu nu no rang sebang sasra bat toka bat poshtui mad basu sasra bat toka bat poshti mad basu diumadagne subiriam balshwishe tamanu pa pakushuitama balshwishe tamanu pakushuitama. Namaste. To Agni, to this God of yours, I sing aloud with utmost power. May he come to us with the gods and sit, best offerer, on the grass. The holy, whose are earth and heaven, and succor waits upon his strength. Him men who bring oblations laud, and they who wish to gain for grace. He is the sage who guides these men, leader of sacred rites is he. Him your own Agni, serve ye well, who winneth and bestoweth wealth. So may the gracious Agni grant most goodly shelter for our use. Once in the heavens or in the floods, he shall pour wealth upon our lands. The singers kindle him, the priest, Agni, the lord of tribes of men, resplendent and without a peer through his own excellent designs. Help us, thou Brahman, best of all invokers of the gods in song, beam, friend of Maruts. Bliss on us, O Agni, a most liberal god. Ye grant us treasure thousandfold with children and with nourishment, and Agni, splendid hero strength, exalted, wasting not away. Okay, that's it. Next is Upanishad. Okay. Book 3, Kanda 7. Yeah, 4 long shlokas. Namaste. Atang Yadedviti Yamamoratam Tadurudrang Upaji Vananti Durano Upaji Vananti Nindurano Mukhana na Pai Devang Ashanananti na Bibanantia Dadevang Muratam Durashatavang Durupiananti. Durupiananti. Tang etadevang Rupamapi Sambishananti etasema Durupang Dudiananti. Sang yang etadeva mamurutam Pedang Rudurang no mebaiko Put Vanandra no Ivang Mukhena itadevang murutam Turashatavang Turupiati Sang etadevang Rupamapi Sambishati etasema Durupang Dudeti. Sorry. I think, I want to say it. I think I want to do the whole thing again, maybe. No, I'm good. Okay. Rupamapi sambi shang Rupamapi sambi shati etasema Durupang Dudati. Bishang sambi shati etasema. Okay. Sang yang vadang adityaha Purasetang Dudetang Pashechang Dasetamετang Divisetang Abad Daku Shui Notang Divisetang Abad Daku Shui Notang Ude tote tara tos met Ude tote tara tos tametange Durang no mevan Tang badang ti patias Tang badang ti patias Bang rangiam Pariatange Namaste. Iti sabetamaha kanundoha. Namaste. Okay. Now the Durudans live upon what is the second nectar, through Anandara as their mouth. Verily, the gods neither eat nor drink. They are satisfied merely with seeing that nectar. These enter that form and come forth from that form. He who knows thus that nectar becomes one of the Rudras themselves, and through Anandara in his mouth is satisfied merely with seeing that nectar. He enters that very form and comes forth from that form. As long as the sun shall rise in the east and set in the west, twice so long will it rise in the south and set in the north, and just that long will he compass the overlordship and the chief sovereignty of the Rudras. Next is Srimad Bhagavatam. — 32. Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember the long chapter. It's another long one. It's short shlokas, regular shlokas. Srimad Bhagavatam has longer shlokas many times. Namaste. Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Devang Trim Shotyang Yahu. Kapilan Ubanjang. Atan Yo Guru Hamati Yan Taiman Evan Abasana Guru He. Gama Maltam Jang Taiman Savana Dogutan Puyahu Bipati Dangan Sang Jangapi Bhagavad Dharma Gama Mutaha Baranga Mukhaha Yajate Karatu Pildavana Beterum Shijam Shiradu Tayan Bitaha Tacha Chiradu Tayan Garan and Tamatiha Better Devabrataha Pumana Katavan Janandara Masam Lokam Somapangaha Bunarashioti Yadong Janhinandara Shayang Yam Shete Nanantang Sano Hariho Tadang Lokang Nayam Yananti Tang Ete Guru Hametinam. Yeah, Sivatalmana na Tuhiananti Tirang Gamal Tahetabe Niho Sangangang Niasita Kaimano Prashanantang Shudu Tachatasaha Niburoti Talmani Niburoti Talmani Ratang Nilmama Nira Hangan Sivatalma Kietnang Sivatalma Kiena Satutuvana Parishudu Tena Jadasanga Suryad Vangreno Te Yananti Purusham Vishvato Mukham Paraparesham Prakriti Masyota Patyatyananta Bhavanam Prakriti Masyota Patyatyananta Bhavanam Deva Paralta Vasane Yah Pralayo Brahmanosututem Davadatya Sate Lokam Parasya Parachinantakah Kushumam Pojam Kushumam Pojam Kushamam Punala Nila Vyanamana Kushamam Puna Kushamam Punala Nila Kushamam Punala Nila Vyanamana Kushamam Punala Nila Vyanamana Inandriyan Tapu Dandi Piho Parivratam Pratisanjihi Shuho Abhyang Karatam Pishati Yalhi Gunatara Yang Tamae Yalhi Kangalam Parakya Manupu Yang Paraha Savayam Puha Evam Paretya Bhagavanantanu Bhagavanantamanu Parabhishutua Ye Yogino Chittamarunan Manaso Pirangagaha Tena Ibang Sangamamuratam Purusham Puranam Brahma Prathanam Upayana Tyagata Pimanaha Atha Tam Sarvabhutanam Huratapadameshu Krutang Alayamu Shurutang Anupavam Sharanam Prajan Pavena Pamini Adyaha Sthira Charanam Yo Vedagal Paha Sahashwipiha Yogeshivaraiha Kumarang Adyaiha Siddharyo Gaprabaltakaiha Peda들을 실도여 비망하네나 니허상은게나 비 깔만워 깔뜨르뜨 방아뜨 사구남 브라흐마 부루셜섭함 삼스러티영에 부나허 강알레 네시바라 물티능에 장때 구너비아티카레 야탕아 보일밤 프라장야테 아이셰바리암 파라메슈투얌 장테피 탈마비닐미타무 ne jouait bien, Punarang Yananti, Kunobiatikare, Sati, Ye, Devihang Sakatamanasah, Kalmasu, Shurada Tayanan Vitang, Gulbanan Diaparatif Shudit, Gulbanan Diaparati Shuid Tang, Gulbanan Diaparati Shuid Tangani, Nitiangania Pichang, Gurutusna Shah, Raja Song, Guruntamanasah, Gamang no Jitanandri Yang, Peteruna, Yajanan Dianudita, Yajanan Dianudinam, Guru Hesheva Piratang Shayang, Terai Valgigang Sete Purushwa, Bimukang, Harimetasah, Katang Gatani Yorubi Gramasian Matude Bishoh, Nunam tai benoi bihatang ye jang chiu takatang sutang hituvang shiranan banantia sadu gantang shiranan banantia sadu gang shiranan banantia sadu gang tang he puri shomi vang bede puja he taku shui nuanang batang aria no he batang aria no he Petro lokam parajanan titem parajang manu parajang yanante shimashan nananti kriyang akratahu no shimashan nananta kriyang akratahu tatasate kushui no sukratahu punalokam sati patananti vivashang devaihu 사디오 비프람시 또 다야흐 다스마 뜨뜨밤 살바 파베나 파자스방 바라메슈 투이나무 다두구노 시라야양에 파그티양에 파자니 야빠당 아부자무 방수데베 파가바티 Bhagati yoga Purayojita Janayati yang shu Vairangagiyam Jinyanam Yadu Brahma Darshanam Yedang Siyang Jetatamal Teshu Sameshivinandri Yavarata Piha Na Biguru Hunonu Biguru Na Biguru Hunuoti Vaishamyam Puriyamitiutang Sang Tadaevang Atmanang Sang Tadaevang Atmanam Dihosangam Samadarshanam Heyopang Deyarahitama Arutam Padami kushate sorry Jinyana teram param brahma paramat meshivaraha pumana Drushyang dipiha Burtagapang vai Pagavan nebai Burtagapang vai Pagavan nekai Iyatem vai Pagavan etang abanevan yogena samagre nuena samagre nuevan. I'm gonna read it again. I'm gonna take a little break, a little tiny break. 20 shlokas left. 15. etang abanevan yogena samagre nueha yoginaha 유지야타 피마토 얄토 야다 상은 가수투 그르트스나 샤흐 진영 나메캄 파라지 나이리는들이 알브라흐마 일구나무 아바팡아티 알타루 빼노 프라는 디양아 샤브당아 디탈미노아 예통에 마하나함 루파스트리 브르트 반짜비타흐 루파스트리 브르트 반짜비타흐 스바랑트 에강다샤비타스타시앙 비포라는 돔 자가디아타흐 에타드바이 시라드타양에 파그티양에 요가 피아세나에 디티아샤흐 사마 히탕 테마에 디허상은고 비라크티양에 파리파샤티 이티에 타트카티탐 굴비 진영남 타드브라흐마다이샤나무 예나바부드 티아테 타트트밤 브라크르테흐 부루샤시양짱 진영나 요가시짱 많은 니슈투어 나의 구누요 바그딜라코쇼너허 드바요라비에칸 에방알토 바가바체 차브다 라코쇼너허 야테넨드리야이허 보르타그드 방아라이랄 보르타그드 방아라이랄토 바후구노시라야흐 에코 나네야템 따드바드 파가방안에 샹아스드라 발트마 피흐 그리여영에 그라트 필당나이스 따빠흐스방아 티앙아야 말샤나이흐 그라트 필당나이스 따빠흐스방아 티앙아야 말샤마나이흐 almost 그리여영에 그라트 필당나이스 따빠흐스방아 티앙아야 말샤나이흐 뜨면은들이 야전이 전자에 뜨면은들이 야자에 나비 사는 이양세 나짱 깔만워머 요게나 비비탕은게나 바크티 요게나 짱이방 히 달메노 파야찌흐 내낭 달메노 파야찌흐 내낭 야흐 브라브러드 디니브러드 디망하네 뜨마따뜨뜨 방아바 보테나에 바이랑아기에 누워들어 투에나 짱 이야때 파가방아 네피흐 사구누어 닐구너허 스바드러크 브랑아 보참 바그디요가 시양 스바루 밤때 짜돌비타무 강라 시양을 짱 비아그 땅을 가테리오는 딸 타바티 장아비아크타 가테리오는 딸 강라시양 장아비아크타 가테리오는 딸 타바피 바티 장아비아크타 가테리오는 딸 강라시양 장아비아크타 가테리오는 딸 와우 장비아크타가 때리오는 딸 타바삐 바따띠 다야 타바띠 강라시양 장비아크타가 때리오는 딸 타바 강라시양 장비아크타가 때리오는 딸 타바띠 자는 투슈 비바시양 삼스러틸 바흐비라 비디양 깔마니 미땅하흐 지바시양 삼스러틸 바흐비라 비디양 깔마닐 미땅하흐 양스방은강 브라비샤는 낭 뜨망아 나 베다 까티망아 뜨마나흐 나이따트 칼라 요파디 샤는 낭 비니당양 나이따트 칼라 요파디는 디 샤는 낭 나이따트 칼라 요파디 샤는 낭 비니당양 wow 5 shlokas left almost done 나이따트 칼라 요파디 샤는 낭 비니당양 깔히치트 나 스다브탕양 나 피는나양 나이바 탈마트바장양 짱 나 로로빵 요파디션 디션나 나 로로빵 요파디션나 그러하루 터졌다세 나 파그당양 짱 매장뚜 나 마드 파그 드 비슈어 마피 마드 파그타드 비슈어 마피 시라드다 탕아나야 파그당야 비니당야 나수야베 푸테슈 그렇다마이땅야 시슈루쇼 피라땅야 짱 바힐장아따비랑아가야 바힐장아따비랑아가야 샤는 따찌뜨땅야 디야땅아무 릴마트 사랑야 슈짱야 야시양함 브라야상함 브리야흐 yang idam shirunu yang adamumban shirade tayang purushoho sakarata yo ma pitatete majajitatahe sanhyeti padabim jang me. Namaste, namaste. Iti Srimad Bhagavate Mahapuranue Paramahamsya Samitanyam Tritiya Sukanante Kapilaya Dumantarim Shotyaya. Namaste. Okay. I have to get my translations. Give me 1 minute. Thank you. Okay. 32 is finished. After this is Kalki Purana. Here we go. Discourse 32. Lord Kapila continued, as for the man who, while continuing at home, performs the duties of a householder and earning wealth and the pleasures of sense through them resorts to those actions again, he too turns his face away from the Lord, deluded as he is by desire, and worships through sacrificial performances the gods as well as the manes with reverence. His mind being swayed by reverence for the aforesaid things, his mind being swayed by reverence for the aforesaid beings, the man undertakes vows to propitiate the gods and the manes, and, having attained to the realm of the moon, drinks the sap of the soma plant. But he must return. When Sri Hari, who has Anananda for his seat, reclines on his couch of Seshwa, these worlds, attained to by the householders, get dissolved. Those wise men, however, who do not perform their duties for the sake of sensuous enjoyment and wealth, but offer their actions to me, nay, who are free from attachment, most serene, pure of mind, devoted to the duties of those who have retired from the world, have no feeling of I am mine, and are endowed with a mind thoroughly cleansed by recourse to Sattva, passing by the name of one's own sacred duty, reach by the bright path the all-pervading Supreme Person, the Lord of both Prakriti and Purusha, the ultimate cause and also responsible for the creation, preservation, and dissolution of the world. As for those who meditate on Hiranuyagalpa as no other than the Supreme, dwell in the realm of Brahma, till the dissolution of Brahma, which takes place at the end of 2 Paraltas. Intending to dissolve the universe enclosed by earth, water, fire, air, ether, the mind, the senses and their object and the ego, and so on, and having finished his regime, extending over 2 Paraltas, when Brahma, who is higher than the other gods, identifies himself with Prakriti and enters the Absolute, the yogis that have controlled their breath and mind and are free from passion enter the worshipful Brahma after casting off their body, and along with him get merged into the Supreme Brahma, who is an embodiment of the highest bliss and no other than the most ancient person, and to whom they did not attain before, inasmuch as their egotism had not left them till then. Therefore, great lady, seek refuge with devotion in him alone, who has taken up his abode in the lotus-like heart of all living beings, and of whose glory you have heard. On the other hand, even Brahma, the cause of the mobile and immobile creation, along with the sages, the lords of yoga, like Sanaka and others, and other siddharthas who are the first teachers of yoga, even after entering, by virtue of their disinterested action, the first Purusha, the foremost of all Purushas, who is no other than Brahma, presiding over the three gunas, is born again as before at the time of creation, when the equilibrium of the gunas is disturbed by the time spirit, a manifestation of the Lord himself because of his retaining the notion of difference and due to his sense of doership. And the sages too, after enjoying the glorious life of the highest heaven, earned by their meritorious acts, return, on the equilibrium of the gunas being disturbed. They, however, whose mind is attached to the world, and who are full of reverence for religious rites, perform actions that are actuated by desire, though not prohibited by the scriptures, as well as those which are of an obligatory nature in their entirety. With their understanding clouded by passion, their mind full of desires, and their senses uncontrolled, they worship the mains every day, their heart finding delight in the home alone. Devoted to the first three objects of human pursuit only, these people are averse to the stories of Sri Hari, whose knowledge takes away the fear of birth and death, and whose innumerable exploits are worth recounting. Abandoning the nectar-like stories of the immortal Lord, they who listen to vile talks, even as the swine feed on filth, have surely been cheated by fate. Performing religious rites from the ceremony connected with impregnation down to the obsequies, they ascend to the abode of the mains presided over by Aryamaya, by the southern path, and are born in the line of their own progeny. Thereafter, when their merit is exhausted, they are forthwith robbed of their glorious state by the gods, and helplessly descend once more to this world, O virtuous lady. Therefore, do you worship with all your being the Supreme Lord, whose lotus-like feet are worth adoring, through devotion evoked by his virtues. A link formed through devotion with Lord Vasudeva calls forth before long dispassion and spiritual wisdom that reveals the truth of the Absolute. When the mind of the devotee ceases to perceive, even through the faculty of the senses, any difference in the shape of agreeability and otherwise in the objects of senses, which are just the same, he forthwith realizes by his intellect his own self as the revealer of unity, free from attachment, devoid of merit and demerit, and established in its own state. The Lord is nothing but absolute consciousness, and is the same as the transcendent reality, the Supreme Spirit, the ruler of all, and the highest person. Though one, he appears in diverse forms as the seer, the object seen, the means of sight, and so on. Absence of attachment to all, that is the only desired end to be attained through all forms of yoga practiced by a yogi. Brahma is absolute consciousness, one and attributeless. Yet through the senses, which have an outward tendency, it erroneously appears in the form of various objects possessing sound and other attributes. Just as the same Supreme Brahma appeared as Mahatattva Divine, the threefold ego, the 5 gross elements, and the 11 inandriyas, and the same self-effulgent being was named as Jiva when endowed with these. Even so, the body of the Jiva in the form of the universe is no other than Brahma, for it is from Brahma that it has sprung. Of course, he alone can perceive it as such, whose mind has been composed and rid of all attachment through reverence, devotion, daily practice of yoga and dispassion. I have expounded to you, O revered Mother, the wisdom which reveals the true nature of the Absolute, by means of which one can realize the truth about Prakriti and Purusha. The discipline of Jnana and the discipline of devotion, which is free from the influence of the three gunas, directed towards me, lead to the same goal, which is signified by the word Bhagavane. Just as one and the same substance, possessed of several attributes, is perceived in different ways through the senses, following different courses, even so the Lord, the One, is variously realized through different paths recommended by the scriptures. Through works of public utility and sacrifices, charitable gifts and austere penance, study of the Vedas and an inquiry into their meaning, nay, even through the control of the mind and senses, as well as through the renunciation of action, through yoga with different limbs, and likewise through the discipline of devotion, through the twofold dharma, viz., that which is accompanied by worldly activity, and that which is characterized by renunciation, and again through the realization of the true nature of the self, and through dispassion do we attain to the same self-effulgent Lord, who is both with attributes and without attributes. And through dispassion do we attain to the same self-effulgent Lord, who is both with attributes and without attributes. Okay. I have already told you the fourfold character of Bhakti Yoga, as well as the nature of Kala, whose movement cannot be perceived, and who brings about the birth and death, etc., of living beings. I have also described the various states of existence of the Jiva, brought about by his actions prompted by avidya, ignorance, passing through which, O Mother, the soul forgets his true nature. One should never teach this gospel of mind to a wicked person, nor to him who is wanting in modesty, nor to an arrogant man, nor again to a moral rake, and in no case to a hypocrite. Nor should one impart it to a man thirsting after pleasures, nor to him who is attached to his home, nor again to him who is not my devotee, nor to those who hate my devotees. It may no doubt be imparted to a man full of reverence, a devotee, a meek soul, an uncavilling man, one who is friendly to living beings, and to him who takes delight in service, one who has developed a distaste for external objects, a man who is serene of mind, one who is free from jealousy, one who is pure both within and without, and above all to him who holds me dearer than all. With his mind fixed on me, O Mother, the man who reverently listens to or repeats this but once will surely attain to my state. I'll read that again. With his mind fixed on me, O Mother, the man who reverently listens to or repeats this but once will surely attain to my state. Thus ends the 32nd discourse, forming part of the story of Lord Kapila in Book 3 of the great and glorious Bhagavata Purana, otherwise known as the Paramamsa Samhita. It was intense. I'll take a little break and then end with Kalki Purana. Wow. I look even less Korean now. Before the incident, I think I looked Korean. After the incident, I started looking Chinese. Now I look really Chinese. No, I don't look Korean. Is anybody having fun nowadays? Does anybody know what fun is anymore? It's chapter 5 today. I always get really scared of, not scared, just a lot of work. This is like real work. Kalki Purana recitation is work. Okay, here we go. Namaste. Sutang Upangchang Upabishudue Tadang Hamse Pekuform Gurutavang Yatochitama Yatochitangam Tatahe Brahurananan Tasyang Sharira Rogiakamiyang Hamsasatashwam Matam Chinyatavang Braha Mam Puratahe Setitama Tabang Charumati Pariyang Putrahe Pancha Buddhadayah Tanaratananand Vitam Sadama Samambatam Sautasamang Kulam Diakutuvang Gadang Gatosi Han Putro devant Hadine Na Tu Samudrati Rasancharahe Purada Talmajana Dadu Durutta Purada Talmajana Duruttahe Vimanantariya Mamiha Yatahe Shokasanan Tapata Ma Tapatang Shokasanan Tapata Ma Nasahe Devam Chang Sapata Vishor Sabutati Barshi Sabutati Barshui Yasatatran Derashatuo Mayang Rapo Dirimshad Barshui Yapat Kasama Diti Me Sampramo Mahane Iyam Pariyang Sahayang Te Na Tatra Lokitang Gavachit Aham Pang Gavan Kutas Tasamat Katam Pang Kena Shashika Shitahe Sang Evan Pang Na Pang Pi Devam Nang Ham Pang Pekushura Bang Sahe Bayori Han Samyoga Shechen Drajalan Ivan Pavat Devam Guru Hasatahe Sevatama Jinyo Pekoshokoham Paratamakahe Bayori Han Sambangado Bala Konamatata Yoribang Tasyang di Shasyang Mayayam Trijagana Mohakari Nui Chinyang Nangat Prapya de Baitala Pyang Mania Hamiti Po Divijang Iti Pekushuha Samashrabian Yadaniat Praha Bismitahe Marganan Dwayang Mahapaga Pavishoyam Katayamitem Pralaya Yang Devayang Darshatwa Purushasyodaram Patsi Sang Mayang Muhajanikang Panantanam Kanuikang Yatang 따모 야나는 따 사는 땅에 방에 노다노디아 따마쿠쇼리 야데다마킬람 노까마 브르티양 바스타양 세티타무 라예 리네 드리자가티 브라흐마 따나마 따라땅 까따흐 니루방아 타오 니라 로케 시스르쿠 슈라 파바트 바라흐 따마 시트 따마성아 구로마그레 브라케탐 구로마그레 브라케탐 살릴람 살바마 이다무. Oh no, this is not. They added something else. Sorry. It's in the notes. They added a lot of notes in there. Right, never mind the last verse. Brahmanuyapi devitanga pute purusha prakriti sivayange pangsange samjana yamasa mahanantam kala yogatahu kala siva pangaba kalmatamae 소하근 까라스타토 파바트 트리브르트 비슈누 시바 브라흐마 마야흐 삼사라 까라나무 따나마 드라누이 따따흐 반짱 자진이레 구노바는 디짱 마하푸다니아피 따따흐 브라그르타우 브라흐마 삼시라 양뜻 정땅에 대방 수라가라에 수라나가나라 대방 수라나라에 예 정니에 지바장 따야흐 브라흐마남도 파는도 삼파라자는 마나 샤크리야 데미카흐. Okay, now it gets harder and harder. That's the pattern I've noticed. I mean, I could be wrong, but it's the 17th shloka right now out of 44. 44, yeah. 정당에 okay. 브라흐마난다 파난다 삼파라자나마나 샤크리야 데미카흐 마야야 지바푸르셔흐 파라마트마나흐. It's a little fuzzy. 삼상하라 샤라너 비아그로 나 베다트 마가팀 그바체트 아호 발라바티 마양 브라흐마디양 야드바셰 스티탕 가보 야탕 나시 프로탕 구노바드탕 카강 이방 땅 마양 구노마임 예 티틸 쇼는티 무니시바랑 스트라바는 팀 방사나 나크람 땅 에바타비도 푸비 샤나강 우방짱 망할까는 누에요 바시시 투시짱님 바마데바다요 라파레 바마데바다요 파레 슈르트방에 가루바쫑 푸야흐 기망후흐 시라바노 드르땅흐 랑자노나는 따바짜 나미티 슈르트방에 스토파마무 김방에 브라후라토 수땅에 바비시오미하 발노양 이티 다드바짱 슈르티양 수따흐 사트크르티양 땀뿌나흐 까탕양마사 깔트시아나임 쇼카모하비카 따까무 수땅 우방짱 따뜨렁 나는 또 푸바가노이 흐 보르슈투어 흐 브랑하 그르땅 따라 흐 따빠성에 모하니타나 미는들이 양원짱 니그라 하며 나는 땅 우방짱 아또함 바나마사디야 따빠흐 그르뜨방아 비타나따흐 내는들이 양놈 나 마나소 니그라 호푸뜨 까땅짜남 빠네 브라흐마 티아야또 메 파리야 부트라 타나디까무 비셔얀짱은 따라에 샤시바트 삼스마라야티 메 마나흐 두폼 스마라노마 트레노 두아카쇼카 파야다야흐 브라투다는티 마마 브라노는 타라노 티아나나 샤카흐 따또함 디시치타마티리는들이 양원자 카따네 마나소 니그라 하스테나 파비시어티 나 삼샤야흐 아또 마미는들이 양원장 니그라 하비야그라 쨌다네 사무 니그라 하비야그라 쨌다 사무 따다 티슈투어 드르 따다 티슈투어 드르 대방아 시장 따다 티슈투어 드르 대방아 시장 드르실드방아 마미 윤자 성아 유란 마미 유란자 성아 루비노 마마 토추스템 포 아나는 땅 이티테 따샹 디그봉 땅에 까빠라짜 또시 비바흐니는 드로 빠빼는 드라 미트라깡 디그봉 땅에 까빠라짜 또시 비바흐니는 드로 빼는 드라 미트라깡 About 15 shlokas left. Digabang tae kaparachato shavi bahani nandro panandra mitraka almost. Digabang tae kaparachato shavi bahani nandro panandra mitraka. Digabang tae kaparachato shavi bahani nandro panandra mitraka. 얘는들이 양노암 바얌 대방아스 따방 대해 브라티시 트위땅아 흐 나카그라까는 더 삼피는 낭안에 나스마는 깔때도 미하이 하시 나 시레요 히 따방 나는 땅에 마노니그라 하카이 마누이 최단에 패단에서 망악감 피는 남아이 망해 마리슈어시 아는 탕아나엠 바티랑 노안짱에 비깔라는들이야지 비낭하며 바네피 비셔야 비아그람 마나삼 라쿠쇼야 마해 지바시양 비 그러하스타시양 대호 개함 마노구너흐 마노누가흐 부드틸팡아리양에 따다누강에 마야미띠아바탕아라양 드마남 wait, that's another one. So they added so many notes that I get confused. I got a little less than same shloka, 10 shlokas. Kalma yatatasiyan jivasya mano manantabi mukatit krata. Manantabi mukatit krata. Samsarayati Bubutasiyan Brahmanua Yasya Mayayange 다스마는 마노니그아 할탐 다스마는 마노니그라 할탐 베시노 파그팀 사마짜라임 수카모코샤 프라당엔 니티암 당아히강엔 살바깔마누아마 드바이타 브라당 나는다 사는 도항엔 하리파그티강엔 하리파그티양엔 지바코샤비나 샤스템 마하마템 Param Prapasyansi Dilbanam Karikera Lokanat Devayang Ityaham Potitasatanai Pagatiyang Sampujiyang Keshabam Karikim Diduraku Shurang Yatahu Diduraku Shurang Yatahu Kurushanam Kalikulan Takam Durashatam Rupamaru Pasyang Sapurashasat Tatpada Paralavahu Sapurashatasat Tatpada Sapurashatasat Tatpada Paralavahu Abadasyang Shurutam Pangakyama Pangachasyang Jasyang Pangakyama Pangachasyang Paratmanahu Ityananantahu Paramuditahu Padamanatam Dijeshibaramu Karikim Kamalamatrakusham Kamalapatrakusham Namasakuratiya Yaya Munihu Rangjano Munibanga Kienang Nilvailna Padadibim Katangah Karikima Pyalchang Padamanchang Namasakuratiya Munibratangah Shukan Ubangchang Anantasyan Kathametang Majinyan Natvanantanang Ashinim Kathametang Majinyan Natvanantanang Ashinim Mayani Anantarim Prapatana Sharanam Banantad Bimutiatem. Now final shloka. Samsangrabhati bilang salang samiti matiha. Samsangrabhati bilang salang sama. Samsangrabhati bilang salang samatiha. Samsangrabhati bilang salang samatiha. Shri Vishnu Sevadaro Bhagatiyang Kyanamidam Sivapedarahitam Nilmaya Talmatmanange Jinyan Loro Lasani Nishanta Kanganga Muditahu Jinyan Loro Lasani Shanta Kanganga Muditahu Sadhu Bhagati Dulgang Ashrayahu Sadhu Bhagati Dulgang Ashrayahu Shodabaigam Jayatang Deshasho Jadagatang Mangat Masititam Jayatang Dasheshu Jagatang Mangat Matsititam Jayatang Dasheshu Magat Jagatang Dashe Jagatang Adashish, Jagatang Adashesha, Jagatang Matmasatitam, Vaishno Bahu. Matmasatitam, yeah. Oof, that's it. Oof. Namaste. Iti Shri Kalki Purano Bhagavate Pabhishuye Tviti Yamshe Anantamaya Nirasanam Nama Panchamotyaya. Take a little break before the translation. Namaste. So I'm taking a longer break. So last translation, last reading. What was I looking for? I gotta remember what I was looking for. This is why a lot of people end up doing nothing. But I don't. Guru Shinua says action is better than inaction. So might as well do something. So I gotta remember what I was looking for. What was that I was looking for? The quest. Verse chanta manantana. Hare Krishna. Hare Vitishi Tuirayam. What was I looking for? Oh yeah. See, found it. And pull it out of my ass. I had to chant the mantra. Once again, the mantra that I made is Hare Krishna and Hare Vitishi Tuirayam. Hare means energy or hail, however you give energy to that person. Energy. Give energy. Sanskrit is a natural language, so meanings can be more than one. So without Hare, so that's also still affected by the word before. So just the word Guru by itself doesn't have any efficacy, or does not have as much efficacy as when you say Hare before Guru Even that, just because I said it before Guru so the Hare Guru it's like multiplies the effect of the word following the word Hare. So you give power to it. So if I had to translate it in English, the word Hare means give power to. Give power to Guru Shinua. Give power to Yutishi Tuirana. Or, in English it could be Hail Guru Shinua. Hail Utishi tuya. So that's what it does. So it has multiple meanings. I guess Heil should be the equivalent of it. It just doesn't have that much. The English language doesn't have any power as far as it doesn't change your DNA. Sanskrit does have a lot of abilities. So English doesn't have that. But English, what it does is, if you don't understand Sanskrit words, then reading the English part will, after you have heard the recitation that I just did, when you read the English part, it it creates something that's miraculous. So the English language is useful in that, just for the understanding of the Sanskrit language. Because that applies to other languages too then. But I think it's more special. English is more special because it's like derived from two of the most advanced languages in the European languages. Or, it comes from the British English, but with the French and other influence, mostly French probably. Because of that influence, it has enriched the language a lot more than other languages, for sure. It's a first-class language. But it's not a supernatural language like Sanskrit. Sanskrit itself is a supernatural language. So what was I? Okay, so this is my longest break. Sorry, now I feel guilty. I've been feeling guilty for a while. Just procrastinating as usual. I had to phrase it like that. Weird. Procrastinating from what? Checkmate. Anyway. I can't find it. Almost there. Oh, I'm gonna think of it as I'm surfing on time or something. I have to find this, I'm sorry. Yes, found it. Now, okay, from now on I'll be just surfing on time. I'm not gonna worry about anything. If anybody, if the one person, what do I care? Anyway, okay, so this is fate. Here we go. Sutra, After properly propitiating the swan and seating him, the relatives and friends of sage Ananda, desirous of his well-being, asked the swan. The swan, knowing my inner thoughts and seated in front of me, questioned me, when did I arrive, leaving my wife Charumati, my 5 sons Buddha, etc., the house full of gems and wealth and crowded city with closely built palaces. Why am I not there for the marriage of my son today? Earlier, very well respected by the pious people of the city, you used to stroll on the beach of the ocean. Having invited me also for your son's marriage, how did you come here, and why are you looking so disturbed? O Lord, there I had seen you at 70 years old, while here you are looking like 30 years old. I also am perplexed at this transformation. This assistant wife of yours was never seen there. Where am I, and how and by whom have I been brought here? Are you the same Ananda or someone else? I too am the same mendicant, Buddha or someone else. Our meeting here is like conjuration. You're a family man, very well knowing your duties, and I am a mendicant dependent on alms. This conversation of ours is like that between a child and a madman without relevance. O Brahmano, this is the Maya of that all-pervading Lord, which attracts the 3 regions. I think it can be understood through knowledge and obtained through Advaita, non-duality. Explanation. Whatever has been told by the astonished swan, O my Kandvaya, I will now tell you all that which will happen in the future. At the end of the era, Maya exists in the water in the stomach of Lord Vishnu that has been seen by you, and which attracts in the same way as a harlot attracts a passerby. The darkness of Maya gives many sufferings. Though eager to destroy a man, it itself cannot be destroyed. It is the same by which the universe has been created in different forms and with different names. At the time of deluge, when all the 3 regions merged into darkness and everything became null and void, desirous of creating the universe again, the Lord appeared in the form of 5 elements. Brahma by himself was divided into 2, Purusha and Prakriti, and in due course of time, Purusha and Prakriti together created Mahatattva. Thereafter, ego was born from Mahatattva, because of time, nature, and action. From the 3 qualities of ego, that is, Sattva, Raja, and Tama, were born Vishnu, Shiva, and Brahma, the maintainer, destroyer, and creator of this world. From threefold ego were born 5 elements. From them were born 5 Mahabhutas. All this creation happens because of the union of Purusha and Prakriti. Thereafter, gods, demons, men, and other beings that are destined to take birth and die were born in this vast pot-like universe. Because of the Maya of the Lord, the creature named man, being infatuated, remains enticed in this world and is not able to know anything about his own well-being. And it's astonishing how powerful this Maya is. Brahma and other gods also are under her control, just like a cow restricted by a string through the nose or a bird tied with the string on its feet. Only the great sages who try to cross the fast-flowing river with 3 qualities of Sattva, Raja, and Tama, crowded with passion like crocodiles, find their lives meaningful. In other words, only such knowledgeable saints understand the reality of this creation. Shamakasa Hearing these words of the teacher, what did the totally engrossed and eager to hear further Mahai Kanduaya, Bashishutua, Mahamadeva, and other sages say? Hearing the nectar-like words of sage Ananandai, what did the king say? O Suutan, please tell us what will happen in the future. Hearing these words of Shaunaka, and having eulogized him, Suutan explained the method of eradicating sorrow and infatuation. Suutan said, thereafter, on being questioned respectfully by the kings, sage Anananda explained the method of overcoming senses and passions through penance. Sage Anananda said, this is why, even after ritualistic penances in the forest, I was never able to control the senses or conquer the mind. Even while meditating on Brahma, I was always thinking about my wife, son, wealth, and other things. Just the thought of them caused me pain, sorrow, and fear, which troubled me and thus caused destruction. Then I resolved that only by crushing the senses, I'll be able to control my mind. Finding me determined to destroy my senses, their presiding gods approached me. The presiding gods of the 10 senses, taking forms, came to me and said, O Anananda, we Dikku Bangata Alka Paruno Pachatai Ashivin Bahani Inandra Upendra and Mitra. The presiding lords of the senses are present in your body. You cannot distort us with your nails. O Anananda, this act will not be beneficial to you for controlling the mind, as by cutting and piercing us, you with your damaged vital parts will also die. As by cutting and piercing us, you with your damaged vital parts will also die. Okay. We have seen the other beings in the forest who are blind, deaf, and handicapped, but are still wrapped in mundane pleasures. Just as a house is to the householder, so is the body to the soul. Mind is servant. Intellect is like the wife. Please understand that we are just her followers. The mind of an active being is the cause of bondage and liberation. This Maya of Brahman only makes a man involved in mundane pleasures and get caught in the ripples of this world. Hence, to control your mind, worship Lord Vishnu. This worship always gives peace and salvation and burns all deeds. O the wise one, the worship of Lord Vishnu is grantor of duality and non-duality as well, and is the bestower of supreme bliss. I want to read it again. Sorry, I'm getting tired a little bit. O the wise one, the worship of Lord Vishnu is grantor of duality and non-duality as well, and is the bestower of supreme bliss. The devotion is the destroyer of both gross and micro bodies. The sight of Kalki will give you the great liberation, so I was told by the swan. Hence I have come to worship with devotion Lord Kurushnu, who in the form of Kalki will destroy the Kali dynasty. I have seen that formless supreme God in form. I have touched the feet of one without feet, and I have heard the words from the speechless supreme. So saying, the happy sage Anananda saluted the Lord, the spouse of Lakshmi, and lotus-like eyed Kalki, and went away. So saying, the happy sage Anananda saluted the Lord, the spouse of Lakshmi, and lotus-like eyed Kalki, and went away. Hearing these words of sage Anananda, the kings decided to live like hermits, and venerating Kalki and saluting Padma, proceeded on the path of salvation. The parrot said. Shuka said, one who hears or reads this narration of sage Ananandai, the dispeller of the darkness of ignorance and Maya, gets freed from bondage. One who is engrossed in the worship of Lord Vishnu, in spite of being eager for mundane pleasures because of this indisputable narration, becomes pious, and with intellect shining like a sword sharpened on a sharpening stone, conquers the 6 enemies by taking resort of devotion like fort. Such devotee of Vishnu becomes self-established in the whole world. That's it. Here ends the 5th chapter of the 2nd part of Sri Kalki Purana, relating the future happenings of the Lord, entitled, says, Anandamaya Nirasanam. Find out what that meaning is. The story of Ananda and how he was influenced by Maya. That sounds about right. Thank you very much. This one lost a little frames. I'm gonna upload this one. It's not a big deal. Cool. Thank you. I think that's it. The only other thing I could think of is reading the Quran, the New Testament, the Old Testament. I might get to that. I might not. If not, I'll do this tomorrow. See you tomorrow. If anybody's watching. Okay. Thank you very much. Namaste.